What's up, y'all? Tis your boy Dreaded Don here, back again to deliver you guys my full and final review of Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter, man. This one, man, this game, it was 100% way better than I was expecting. It lived up to my expectations and more. It really thoroughly fulfilled its role as a sequel. From the artistic design, from the gameplay, from the storytelling, from the pacing of the game itself, gameplay mechanics, enemy designs, the crafting that they have inside the game, everything. Oddbug Studios, you guys really just, as I like to say, y'all chefs kissed it, man. You chefs kissed it, man. Anyways, man, with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and get down. I'm gonna go ahead and break it down fairly quickly for you guys. I got it broken up in 3 different sections, right? So we got the graphics and the story of the game being how the game is told. We got the gameplay being how the game feels, and then we kind of got the game mechanics, right? How the game feels to interact with. All right, man. So I mean, I know you know, you know, you know. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, graphics and story wise, man, if you're coming right from the first one, then yeah, you're gonna play the second one and you're gonna notice a huge artistic increase. Like they really did not cut any corners when it came to improving on everything they did from the first one, right? Now, if you haven't played the first one, the best way I could explain this graphic style to you is it kind of is like a 2D image put into a constant 3D flow. And when I looked more into it, it does seem like they took inspiration from European block printing. Not 100% sure what block printing is, but when I did look at it, it was pretty savvy. I was impressed. I was impressed, man. And honestly, I think that is what allows the game to flow into its background beautifully, like beautifully. The black backgrounds have so much liveliness going on from zone to zone. The moment you even get into your first zone or you get into your first really big fight with the bats, you'll notice that in the background that you got a couple of bats that are just sitting there back there playing the drums. Or if you're going through the forest, and you'll notice a couple of the villagers are also running in the background to what's pertaining to you in the foreground, which I also think is so cool. It makes the world feel very immersed and lived in, and it makes you want to spend more time in the world. And to be honest, I think it does such a great job into allowing the game to visually progress your character, the world, the land, and everything around you to make you actually feel like, okay, this story is progressing in a way that I'm understanding, especially when it comes to finding people that are going to help you upgrade your armor or maybe improve your kingdom. And especially when you start to see it on your character, when you're in those different environments, you're like, okay, well, there's a reason why I got this armor on now. You know what I mean? There's a reason I have this character with me. There's a reason why my kingdom is looking the way it is. You understand? And I think they did a phenomenal, phenomenal job when it came to the graphic style and the visual progression and just overall telling you the story in this visual way. Like, there's not much I can say about that. If we're talking about the gameplay, I think we can kind of understand how the visuals can really just blend right into the gameplay and how the game overall just feels. You know, when you're fighting the different types of enemies, it makes sense for the environment that you're in, right? You're like, okay, yeah, I'm fighting some owls in the forest. You know what I mean? I'm fighting the hedgehogs down under the ground, the spiders over here, the snakes over here. It feels and looks very good, especially when you're going through it. Now, I played on PS5. So in part, I gotta lend some of it to the PS5 controller and the haptic feedback that I felt, you know, because I love when I'm pulling the trigger for the heavy attack and I can time the heavy attack based on the charge, you know, and I can feel how the tension in the trigger. That it's amazing, it's phenomenal. But that is to goes to say is like that's how rewarding the combat actually feels in the game. When you know the distance of your dodges, when you know the distance of charged heavy attacks coming from the enemy, when you know that you got to parry, and then you get into the chaos of the combat when you're facing several different types of enemies that they can charge you, they can parry attack you, they're hitting you with normal attacks, they're disappearing on you. You got to manipulate all of the things on the battlefield. It feels very, very good, and it's so easy to just get caught up in all of the immersion of the combat, and you just end up forgetting, like, man, I'm just a rat warden, like. I'm just a rat warden in the north fighting, and I'm not a berserker over the land just conquering everything I come to touch. You know what I mean? There's plenty of times when I would just be fighting an enemy, or I would be fighting a later boss and be like, man, like I'm wondering why I'm just beating this guy down. Why am I just knocking his teeth in? Is bro, you have traversed through everything in the game to get to this point. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, that's where the visual story progression as well as the gameplay of the game, they blend very beautifully together. And I think that's why the gameplay does such a great job at holding on its own, because it holds up the game mechanics. It holds the enemies that you're going to be facing. It holds up all the sound design as well. You know, like all of this just blends together so well when when you're fighting and you're hearing the clashing of the metal, you're hearing the grunting of the enemies, you're hearing the blood being spilt. You're like, whoa, this is something, man. And it's done again as I'm glazing, but the game is it's amazing. It's a really good indie game, and They did it. They did it. And getting into the game mechanics of things, man, I think that's the best area that you're going to be able to see how they really did it and just made a beautiful game, man. Is once you have your kingdom fully upgraded and up and running, you can see all the game mechanics flowing right back into your game, right? Like you've gone out and gathered all these companions so that your cook has a better buff system so that you have more health throughout the entire game, right? You have a better shop system so that you can buy your resources that are going to fund your blacksmith, which is going to help you increase your armor. And then you can go out and use that same armor, maybe, put in mind on a wish list of different types of armors you want to go out and gather. And then you can go out and hit that fast travel system, which you unlock and get used to using. And then you'll go out to different towns, and you hit the different towns. They'll have different quests, repeatable quests, different bosses for you to enjoy. And you can keep hitting those different types of bosses and hunting those monsters to gather those resources. Take them back to your base, use those same resources to upgrade your base and upgrade yourself, which is like, again, the armor customization isn't crazy in depth, but it's enough to allow you that if you want to have different customization visual wise, you can. If you want to min max, you can. You know what I mean? And the game allows for all those resources to come right back in on itself. And it's even beautiful because once you go out and then start to enjoy the world a little bit, you'll start to understand, okay, the fast travel, do I want to use the fast travel system? Do I want to fight through a couple of the enemies? And that's kind of where the game is slightly Souls-like. Some of the enemies, if you just don't respect them, they're gonna knock your ass out. They're straight up. They don't care. They don't care. The bosses 100% are gonna knock you out if you don't respect them. And if you haven't hit your last save bench, which is a very important mechanic in the game, which leads it to the Souls-like genre, is that it works like a bonfire. You go to the save bench, you hit the save bench. Once you're there, there's usually a healing item that you can usually gather from the bugs or a bug barrel, or even just, the plants that you gather and then refill up on your healing items. But one healing is not going to heal you all the way to full. So it's, give, take there. There's sometimes a mini moment. You talk to the mini moment. He's going to have resources that you had back at your base and that you're going to need to gather out further, like resistances, traps, a whetstone. Like they have a lot of these different types of game mechanics that play into the immersion of the world that make you understand that, okay, I'm not just a rat going out to battle. I need to prepare myself. I need to make sure I have the right armor, the right defenses, the right equipment. I need to make sure my kingdom is set up so that I can have those resources for when I do go out to battle. You know what I mean? And I think they really show that, again, going back to the fast travel system, is when you first get the fast travel system, you don't have everything unlocked. You have to go out and you have to buy different poles from the different people. And I think they did such a good job at blending all of that together, especially at the end of the game, and you can see it, the fruits of your labor. Be like, oh wow, this is the kingdom I've set up. It's amazing. It's amazing. Overall, man, like we just had to like wrap this all into just a bundle and be like, here, this is what we're presenting you with. You know what I mean? I would say that the graphic design of the game was executed absolutely beautifully. They did such a great job on the artistic style of the world in the background. The gameplay, with the combat, the sound design, the immersion of the world. Great. It's such a fun play. Such an easy game to just pick up and play all the time, right? The gameplay mechanics really add into that, and especially once you get to the halfway point and the game starts to pick up and you start to understand where the story is taking you. Great. It's not much you can actually ask for in a title like this. I really enjoyed my time with this one and the first one, man, so I'm definitely looking forward to what Oddbook Studios has in store for us next. If you want to check out my playthrough of the game, there should be a link to it down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, my friends, sub for more info. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the horizon. Deuces.